Hello, everyone. My name is Amer.
My name is Carlo.
And my name is Hector. Our project is a self-stabilizing spoon. Our motivation for picking this is because Parkinson's is a movement disorder of the nervous system that worsens with age. It can start with symptoms that people ignore as normal aging effects, but there's serious disease affecting the body. It affects 1.1 million people in the US with an average rate of 90,000 new cases each year. It also affects men twice as likely when compared to women. And people nowadays are exposed to more risk factors due to farming practices like pesticides and herbicides. Parkinson's effects. One of the main symptoms of Parkinson's are the tremors. There are vibrations around the frequency of 3 to 6 hertz. This is created by a loss of neurons that produce a chemical messenger in the brain. This leads to chemical imbalances within the brain, which eventually leads to muscle movement disorder. Parkinson's is typically defined using 5 stages, with some people progressing through the stages over the course of 20 years or even more. 56% reported receiving aid with activities such as housework, transportation, or personal care due to the disease.
Here are a few examples of some famous people who suffered and or still suffer from Parkinson's. Michael J. Fox is an actor who played the main character Marty McFly in the Back to the Future trilogy. He was diagnosed with Parkinson's in 1991 at just 29 years old. Muhammad Ali was a well-known boxer who, although being a heavyweight, still had notable speed. He was diagnosed with Parkinson's in 1984, and he was in his early 40s when that happened. Pope St. John Paul II was elected head of the Catholic Church in late 1978. He was diagnosed with Parkinson's in 2001, but remained Pope until his death in 2005. So in this day and age, there are certain types of utensils available to help counter the effects that Parkinson's and other tremor-causing diseases have. Adaptive utensils are utensils that provide better coordination, range of motion, and grip to improve mealtime experience. In the upper picture, you can see an example of utensils with extra grip. And weighted utensils help provide steadiness by adding additional weight to the utensils used when eating. The utensils in the bottom picture show utensils with notably large handles that have additional weight inside of them. Here are a couple more examples. Angled utensils modify the angle at which the food holding part of the utensil, for forks and spoons specifically, hold the food. The upper picture shows more clearly what that looks like. Anti-shake utensils detect tremors in the hands and adjust the utensil to keep steadiness. The bottom picture shows what that looks like with wiggle room where the food holding part of the utensil and the handle meet. One example of an existing product available on the market comes from Alimed, which is a company that sells medical products. In the picture, a set of utensils with extra grip and added weight is shown. The extra grip can help with keeping the utensils from falling out of the hand or hands of people with Parkinson's. But honestly, what good is grip if they're still shaking? And they do have added weight to minimize the shakiness, but it doesn't completely eliminate it. And at almost 200 bucks, not including tax, who really wants to pay that much to still have to deal with unsteadiness when eating?
So our proposed solution, our group's goal was to create a spoon that was easier to make than the ones on the current market, develop a low complexity assembly that can be produced using accessible methods, and it's purely mechanical spoon, so no electricity is needed to operate the spoon, which means no battery or a need for an outlet, and help people be more independent and be able to eat with more success, which could lead to higher levels of self-esteem and joy in living. Our design concept was to add a pivot joint that allows the spoon head to rotate independently, add washers to provide a smooth, low friction movement, weight to the handle to help add stability, reduce motion transferred from the hand to the spoon, increase inertial resistant rapid shaking, and create a dampening effect to smooth tremors.
So for our prototype, we use simple, low-cost materials that are easy to access. So the main components include a standard spoon, a bolt and a matching nut, and several washers. The bolt acts as the pivot point, while the washers help reduce friction and allow smooth rotation between the spoon head and handle. To improve stability, we added mass to the handle using pennies, which were secured with tape, and this helps increase inertia and reduce the effect of small rapid movements. We also used a drill to create the hole needed for the pivot connection. So overall, all materials were chosen to keep the design simple, affordable, and easy to replicate. To build our prototype, we started by drilling a hole through both the spoon head and handle so they could be connected. Next, we inserted a bolt through both pieces to create the pivot joint, and we also placed washers between the contact surfaces to reduce friction and allow the spoon head to rotate smoothly. We then secured everything with a nut, making sure it was tight enough to hold the structure together, but still loose enough to allow rotation. And after assembling the joint, we added weight to the handle using pennies, which we secured with tape. This step was important for increasing stability and reducing the effect of small movements. Finally, we tested the spoon and adjusted the tightness and weight as needed to achieve smoother motion. So this is our prototype of the gyroscopic spoon. It features a pivot joint created using a bolt and washers, which allows the spoon head to move independently from the handle. We also added weight to the handle using pennies to increase stability and reduce the impact of small rapid movements. And overall, the design is simple, low cost, and was successfully assembled and tested. So for our testing, we simulated hand tremors by intentionally shaking our hand while holding the spoon. So the goal was to recreate small, rapid movements similar to what somebody with tremors might experience. We compared a regular spoon to our spoon using water, since it makes differences in control and spilling easy to observe. So when using a regular spoon, the motion from the hand was directly transferred to the spoon, which led to more noticeable shaking and more spilling of the water. In contrast, with our gyroscopic spoon, the pivot joint helped reduce how much of that motion reached the spoon head, and the added weight helped stabilize the movement. So as a result, we observed less shaking and improved control, showing that our design was effective in reducing the impact of the tremors. And we can see that in these pictures here. As you can see on the bottom left, this is what the result of the water after simulating these hand tremors with a regular spoon. We see a lot more water spillage. In comparison to using our spoon, there's a lot less water spillage.
So ways we can make our design better is by having more ergonomic design. This can be done by having a rubber textured handle to make it more easier to grip and handle it, making the handle wider so there's a larger surface area to grip on, adding a flat indentation on the spoon handle for the thumb, giving it better usability, adding a swivel to the spoon head to make it move side to side, and adding a high contrast color to make it easier to see, as due to Parkinson's, you can have visibility issues as well.
Thank you for listening.